Hi everybody, you're welcome to the next episode of Late Friday Night Banter Blitz. I'm happy to play some games again, so your level become more and more unexpected from one show to another. So actually, I think that today I have really high chances to lose some of the games, maybe a lot of the games, because honestly, I have been playing very bad chess recently. Maybe partially because of being exhausted due to renewal works, but it is the final stage, so very soon I will be all right again. I hope so, at least. So let's get to playing. Just a second, I will activate the playing mode. Okay, so I have some challenges already, and I think it's time to start the thing, right? So, actually, let me know if everything is alright with the sound and with the picture. Well, don't blame me for this green background. I think it is not the main thing. The main thing is the quality of the stream and the quality of the sound of the picture and so on. Okay, so let us start. Today probably it will be a bit shorter than usually. I mean, usually I do something like 2 hours. Today I will probably do something like 1 hour and a half. Okay, and the first game, let us play to Omid Malik from Canada. I accept the challenge. And I play with white pieces, right? Okay, e4. And French defense, right? Very nice. Okay. Knight to c3 and knight to c6. Okay. One of possible lines here, but I think it is not the most promising for black. So it's a bit tricky. Okay, there are a lot of different possibilities, including just e5. I will just try to keep developing my pieces. Well. What to do here? To play bishop to g5 or something. Yeah, let's try bishop to g5. I don't think it would be bad. And thank you guys for sharing my videos. Very nice. Chronic student asks, any news from Chess24 in the premium convention session with Andre? No news at the moment because, well, I'm not ready probably for doing the show right away, but maybe in the beginning of the year everything will be clarified, so stay tuned. Okay, bishop to e7. Now I have a chance to play e5. One of possible moves. Another one is just to take on f6. But taking on f6 looks a bit strange. So yeah, let's try e5 instead. Let's try e5. So yeah, I will simply exchange dark squared bishops. At first glance, it looks very promising. For white, in fact, it might be not that simple, because without dark squared bishop, it is usually very hard to attack in French defense for white. This might be an issue. But still, I think I have some attacking chances here. Let's try playing something like this, bishop to d3. Again, just continuing development and, well, preparing castling, exerting some pressure on the knight e4, and giving black a chance to play this move. Yeah, I expected this jump with the queen, and now I wanted to try this, just to check if I can do this. Of course, I sacrifice a pawn, but maybe I'll grab some initiative, I don't know. Let's see how it works. It might be, of course, not enough to compensate the pawn, but at least I have a bit more space. I have some attacking perspectives, maybe. So this pawn sacrifice might be interesting. I mean, bc3 takes c3, and here I wanted to do this. So pawn on d4 is invulnerable. If takes, then I take. Queen takes, bishop b5 check, wins the queen. And with the help of rook b1, I stop the bishop on c8 for a while and prepare rook to b3. Queen to a3. Well, can I just try to open up the center with the help of c4? Now it looks very interesting, but then knight to b4 might be the problem, but then rook to b3. Maybe not a big problem for me. Okay, let's try it. It looks promising at least. So White definitely has some initiative here, but the question is very simple. Is it enough? Is it enough for something tangible? Because initiative is good, but initiative is usually something temporal, right? Is it possible to transform this initiative to something like a tangible advantage? That is the question. Okay, castles. Now I have to decide what to do. Rook to b3 looks interesting. Knight to g5, but all this looks like some sort of tricky play, not very good one. But I don't know. Maybe it's possible to play this way in this position. d5 looks interesting, but I think it's not very good because one of the parts of the compensation for missing pawn is the passive bishop c8. After d5, of course, I activate my pieces, but I also make bishop c8 not that passive, and it will be possible for black to activate it easily through f5 or g4 at some point. This might be not very suitable for me. Okay, rook to b3, I don't know, queen takes a2 is even possible. So let us just start with this move. I don't know whether it is bad or not, but it looks sensible. So now I exert some pressure on the king side at least. Queen to e7. Okay, just going away with the queen, and it looks quite good for black. Not sure if I have something. So maybe f4 on this move makes some sense, because otherwise, if I protect the knight somehow, then black simply attacks it and forces it going back to f3 position. After f4, I mean, it will be at least not that stupid, right? Because I already played f4 and, well, improved that position a bit. If my rook goes to b3, maybe one day I will have some tricks connected with knight takes h7. But my rook is not there at the moment. Okay, so can I just play d5 here? Let's try it. So somebody said that Topalov sacked the bishop, so I also tried to sack the bishop after queen c5, but my opponent decided to take the pawn. Okay. Also a possible move. That's what I intended to do, actually, to close the d-file, to prevent all sort of counterplay connected with that rook on h8, and now to try something. I don't know what exactly. So bishop to h7 looks interesting. Queen to h5 as well. Yeah, queen to h5 will be probably the move I will do. Without a concrete threat, maybe. but at least creating some pressure here in the king side is my only chance. I need my rook badly somewhere, of course, but it's probably not the best time, not the best moment. So now what to do? Bishop to h7 check, just to see where the king goes. King to f8, okay. Now what? I don't know. I don't really know. Let's try. No, I don't want to try it. Let's go back. I just lost the time on that. 100%. Yeah. But okay, I still have some attacking chances, I think. Bishop b6, okay, into h8. Let's do that. b7 is hanging, but well, it's not interesting. But now I think I can do this, check, and takes on f5. That is interesting, really. So I win a minor piece. My knight is stuck there, but I have some tricks like this one, right? That was not good, but okay. Queen e6 was a move instead of queen f8. Now I should be winning. There is the question, if I have enough time. Yeah, it should be enough. And my opponent resigned. Okay. He acted like a gentleman. Yeah. So actually, yeah. Bishop f5 was kind of unforced mistake. After which, of course, my position was winning. Yeah, after c6, of course, knight f6 wasn't really needed. Instead of that, it was possible, for instance, to play something like rook b3. So everything is just fine here. I just prepared this knight f3 followed by rook to g3. It is much better than playing knight to f6 immediately, right? So here I'm fine. And black was actually fine. By the way, an interesting moment was here when I played d5, queen c5 check, right? King goes to h1, queen takes c4, and queen goes to h5. That was a critical moment, a critical line, actually. Yeah. So pawn on f7 and pawn on h7 are hanging simultaneously. I have a compensation for a missing piece because, first of all, I have an attack. I grab some of those pawns. And knight on c6 is hanging. That's the idea. So probably taking on d5 deserves serious attention here. Let's say with the queen. Let's just try to check it. But after taking with the queen, probably rook to d1 will be very annoying. So maybe it's better to take on d5 with the rook. I don't know. No, rook, queen f7, queen f8, checkmate. It doesn't work 100%. So what to do here? I'm not sure. Queen to c2, protecting h7 deserves attention, but then I can take on f7, then take on c6. I will definitely have a compensation at least, at the very, very least. ed5. Okay, let's take ed5. So I take here, king f8, say one more check, king e7, queen takes g7, now f7 is hanging. Bishop to e6, yeah, probably possible move, but then f5 or something. And this position looks rather dangerous. That was my intention, actually, to play in this position. But of course, maybe in general, this pawn sacrifice wasn't that correct, right? So my opponent was quite good in the opening, but then started playing maybe not best moves, especially after this. Let me think for a while. So yeah, so somewhere here, knight d4, king to h1, somewhere here it was possible probably to improve the position somehow. I don't really know how exactly. Maybe to play c5, at least with the idea of c4, just doing something with this bishop. d3, maybe trying to get rid of it, to simplify position a bit, and so on. Also, well, I do believe there is something for black, but I'm not sure what exactly. But bishop f5 was definitely a mistake. After bishop d3, probably c5 deserved attention, something like that, but not bishop to f5. That was just a blunder. But anyway, okay. So in the analysis of that position after queen c5 and queen c4, I definitely made some mistakes because I'm a bit exhausted, a bit tired, right? Okay. Still, I think for a blitz game, it was quite a dangerous position, quite a good position. I mean, for white to play some initiative and so on. Let's continue. The next game will be played against Alik Gorshkov. Accept. e4, and again I play with white. That is interesting. By the way, pay attention to my rating. So I've lost a lot of rating points, and this means my main task today is just to stay above 2800s. Okay, d6, c3. Ruy Lopez, and well, this d3 is kind of anti-Berlin. Calm continuation, just making it possible to fight long term, something like that. So knight to d2, just like in every variation of this very calm d3 Spanish. So white is not in a hurry. White tries to complete the development of all the pieces to bring the knight somewhere to e3 or g3. So it depends. And only then, when everything is prepared, for example, to play d3, d4, this typical breakthrough in the center, and well, to try to grab the space and so on. So d5, okay, one of possible moves. Here the typical reaction is just to play queen to e2, preventing the exchange of queens. So I'll try this. I can do that because my pawn c3 controls d4 square. It is not very dangerous for me, and if black takes on e4, I'm okay. So I take on e4, then my knight probably goes through e3 to d5, and so on. Okay, h6, I think knight g3 should be played to improve the position of the knight and to try to worsen position of black's bishop h5. It's a bit annoying. And okay, now after bishop g6, this bishop is no longer that dangerous. I can continue development of my pieces. Knight h4 looks like an interesting idea, just to occupy f5 square. This might be very promising, but I have to check. Knight takes e4 possibility. So knight h4, let's say knight takes e4, attacking my knight on h4. I take on g6, sorry. If black takes on g6, I take on e4, winning the minor piece. So knight takes g3 should be played. And then knight takes e7, queen takes e7, pawn takes g3. So it looks like a win a minor piece in this combination. So after knight h4, looks like black should play bishop to h7, and then I can play knight to f5. Yeah, looks promising, so why not? I think that this maneuver, bishop g4, followed by bishop h5, bishop g6, in a combination with d6, d5 is not really good for black. So, oh, that is something new. That is something I didn't expect. So now diagonal a2, g8 might be critical. I can grab that bishop g6, but maybe I don't want to do this the direct way, straightforwardly. I mean, taking on g6, because this leaves my knight g3 without that great f5 square. So maybe it's better for me to play knight to f5 instead. Well, let's try it. Knight goes to f5. Right. And knight goes to f5. So the bishop takes f5, knight takes f5, we have the same. I mean, I just achieved what I wanted to grab the bishop, it was. And this means my knight is very good on f5 after that. If compared to knight takes g6, f takes g6, and my knight on g3 is kind of restricted, right? So it's a different story. Okay, bishop to h7. Now I can grab dark squared bishop, but maybe it's not that important at the moment. So it's better just to improve the position of the queen. Quite a typical reaction. So now my queen gets closer to black's king. And now I have to check if I have anything straightforward. I mean, bishop h6 or knight takes h6, because I have a lot of pieces there on the king side already. Or queen g3 attack and g7 should be also considered. Doesn't feel like I have something immediately. Yeah, knight g7, king g7, queen g3 check, king h8, bishop h6, let's say rook to g8, nothing. Yep, so this means it's better for me to continue development. C takes d4, by the way, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, doesn't look very promising for white. So yeah, maybe I will just keep developing my pieces. Bishop d2, then rook to d1, and bishop to c1. I will wait a bit, so it's also very interesting to see what black will do. Draw? No. No draws, my friend. a5. I don't know. Let us check if I can attack this g7. What will happen in this case? Well, I have 1 minute. I have to be faster. It's time to be a bit faster. So if knight goes to h5, then probably queen to g4. Yeah, that was planned, more or less. The knight is attacked now. If g6, I take on e7 and take on h6 then. But bishop g5, okay. What did that? Doesn't it lose anything? I don't really know. Strange move. Bishop g5, queen g5, yeah. Yeah, that is strange. Strange enough, but yeah, it looks like everything is protected. I missed bishop g5. Good defense. Now it's not that simple. It's not simple anymore. Yeah. Position is far from being clear. And I have no time. That is already very, very dangerous. But okay, let's keep playing. f6 was a strange move. I think black will take now on f5 prior to doing anything else. So let's remove e takes f5. No, g4. Oh, d5 maybe. Yeah, that was absolutely spontaneous decision. I have no place for the knight. That's a shit. Oh yeah, very bad game. Yeah, I'm a minor piece down. That's really annoying. So let's restrict the knight at least, okay? And try to play for a c7 pawn. Yeah, that was what I was talking about. I played like a modern recently. That is really, really annoying, but what can I do? So it happens. It just happens. Yeah, black is much better, of course. No questions. Let's try to fight anyway. I know I will lose the game, but let's keep fighting. at least to show some fighting spirit. Okay, and that is what I wanted to do, but it's probably not enough anyway. But let's see. King g5, rook h5, king g4, then what? Rook to h3 or something. Yeah. I now have some chances, but I have no time. Anyway, so it will be lost, I think. It will be lost, I know. Yeah, the last chance. And my opponent accepted the draw. Yeah, so of course it was absolutely unnecessary to play this shit on the king side. So let's have a look on that. When I played this very strange sequence of moves. So okay, that was pretty cool. Queen f3 came here, but now, wow. I don't know actually what was the best way of developing this initiative. Maybe queen to h3 instead of queen to g3 and bishop d2, trying to exploit the g file or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, bishop d2, well, a5, queen g3 appeared quite interesting, quite complicated. So bishop to g5, I didn't expect that. So my bishop on g2 is hanging, that's the problem. So if I take here, bishop simply takes here. And I didn't see a follow-up for white. So bishop just goes back to g5, and yeah, everything is fine. Or even takes on c3, I don't know. Yeah, even taking on c3 is possible here, if rook goes away. So bishop g5 was a very good defense. Rook to d1 takes, queen g5. So here maybe queen to e2, or no, queen e2 allows knight to f4. So that was more or less okay. But then f6. And yeah, my knight is almost trapped here on f3. That was a problem. That was a serious problem. So it was probably better for me to play something like h3. I don't really know. cd4 looked so natural, but then after g4 I realized that, come on, it's not easy. Because if knight goes to h4, then it will be attacked again. Something like g5. Yeah. Yeah, looks awful. Okay, so thanks for the game. That was a good game, Alec. Congratulations. Let us continue. Okay, the next challenger was Alan Zafar Accept. And again, white pieces. Come on. What is going on here, huh? Only white or only black? Just one show after another. Alan, you're welcome. I'm waiting for, I don't know, several seconds. Yeah, and you play. Good. Knight c6, d4. So what it will be probably Sveshnikov. Yep. Okay, bishop to g5. Everything is a well-known theory. Knight goes to a3. b5, knight to d5. Bishop f6 is also playable and probably considered a main line. Knight e5 is also quite good. So bishop f6, and here I play c4 usually. Knight d4. So let me remember, what is that? C takes b5 is the main move here, right? Yeah, for sure. And then b6. No, bishop goes to e6. That is different. So I usually saw something like castling after giving up that pawn. Bishop to c4. Can I play that? Yeah, I think bishop to c4 can be played. Let's check it at least. So if I miss something, I will know at least. Okay, now what? Bishop takes b5 check, deserves attention. Knight b5, knight b5, and if queen a5 check, then knight goes to c3, everything is fine. But after bishop takes b5, probably king goes to f8. I have a lot of hanging pieces. Knight takes b5 is also a move here. Do we play 3 minutes or something? I don't know. Yeah, it looks like that. That's strange. Huh. Okay, to start with knight takes f6 maybe, yeah. I'll do that. Just knight takes f6. That's strange. Come on, my opponent tricked me. I didn't see that. He offered to play 3 minutes. That's really annoying. But okay. If queen takes f6, I mean, I will probably just take on b5 with the bishop. If pawn takes f6, I will take probably on e6. Yeah. Or again, just bishop takes b5. Why not? Bishop b5 check, I mean. Yeah, strange opening, strange game. But okay, let's play. Well, to take on b5 with the bishop, right? Deserves attention, why not? Or just to take on e6, also an interesting idea. Well, let's check this. Not completely sure, of course. Yeah, queen a5. That is an interesting improvement. Okay, so now I think I have nothing. Yeah. So it was better for me to take on b5 with the bishop, I think. Check. And then to go away. Now we'll probably even have problems. So let's put the rook on c1. Come on, everybody offers a draw. Let's play, guys. What's wrong with you? Yes, now b4 is a threat. Very annoying one. Not really sure, but let's play. Pawn down. Yeah. Let us try to be a bit tricky. King b3, attacking the rook, and now attacking d4. Trying to get to h7 maybe. Yeah, I get to this pawn. Check. Now I take on f5. Yeah. Take on d6. Take everything. Yeah, of course. I was worse. Black wasn't forced to blunder all this in the endgame. So b4 was a bad move. So here it was much better, for example, just to go to a6 with the idea of rook c6, after which black simply has an extra pawn in the rook endgame, right? Actually, yeah, a bad game for me. Bishop e6 was probably a bad decision. I don't know, maybe bishop takes b5 was better. Bishop b5 check. So the idea is that if knight takes b5, knight takes b5, knight goes to c3, knight goes to c3. If queen a5 checks, so this looks more or less fine. I have a better pawn structure at least. So probably the bishop b5 black's idea was to play something like this, king to e7, I think. And now black has a couple of threats, like rook takes a3, like queen to a5. But I guess that I can put my bishop on d3, covering all critical squares. And, well, I will definitely have some problems. And black definitely has some initiative for a missing pawn, but at least it is an extra pawn. Not a pawn down like it was in our game, right? Yeah. So that was the way of playing that. And for black, I'm not sure. It is probably a playable line with the bishop p6, but I saw something like castling. Castling, then b6, bishop to b7. Something like that with more or less equal position, more or less equal chances, right? Let's continue. Okay, let's continue. Challenges, Duke Crusher, accept. And I play with black. Let us continue. Somebody says, complains about draw offers, takes draw not to get defeated on time. Oh, very nice. Very nice comment, man. You noticed something really, really critical. I took the draw offer in the previous game, not in the last one where I complained, like you say, about draw offers. I complained about draw offers because position was really better for black. So what is the reason to offer a draw when you have a chance to win? Right? That was strange, actually. Knight to d2, bishop to b7. Yeah, queen to c2, so white is about to occupy e5 square. But queen c2 is not that typical square for a queen here, so usually queen goes to e2. Now I think I have this. I mean, just to kick this bishop away from a good position. So after that, I mean, white's attack will be probably not that efficient, not that dangerous. And knight to e5. Okay, let's take and see how it works. Now knight goes here. f4, yeah. And let's just imagine that the bishop is still on the diagonal b1 h7. This could have been much more dangerous. That's my idea. That's why I don't like queen c2 move. But still, white's position is quite interesting. Queen b6 is promising. Well, it's tempting. It's not promising because e3 is easily protected with the help of bishop f2 or something. So maybe it's better for me just to focus on this b4 play, right? So I grabbed some space, so why not to play b4? Looks like my only active play after all. Knight goes to d4, that's clear. But e4 is now a bit vulnerable, so maybe it is a chance for me to get there to e4. But knight g5 is also a threat. might be annoying. So yeah, maybe it makes sense for me just to start with h6, but then f5 is also a threat. Come on, what has a lot of threats here? Okay, so what to do? What will be the best move? Let's try knight to c5. At least it looks quite active. At least this knight controls some critical squares. Maybe I will have a chance to occupy e4, who knows? Yeah, bishop h4 is good. And now let's say queen goes to b6. I have some tricks connected with attacking e3, I think. And knight g5. Yeah, everything is quite interesting. But now knight to d3, is it possible? Bishop takes d3, queen takes e3 check, and then takes on d3. That is interesting. But after knight d3, probably bishop to f2 is possible to play. h6. Yeah, I can solve my problems with the help of that. Yeah, let's try it. So I guess I don't blunder anything. So knight d3, bishop takes, queen takes e3 check, and then queen takes d3. Yeah, should be working. Should be working. And while white protects e3, I will have a time for playing h6 or something. Yeah, for example, like here. So if bishop takes d3, I can take on d3 attacking the queen, and then knight g5 is hanging. That was my idea, that was my plan. And if knight goes away, then what? Then we will see. Maybe knight just goes back to c5, or maybe b4. And with this, is it really possible? I mean, okay, I take that. I think I have an extra minor piece. Yeah, maybe white has some initiative, which I simply underestimated. I don't know. Let's see. There is a checkmate in threat after rook h3, so queen h7, and so on. How can I protect it? This square h7 probably. Square h7 I probably can't protect. Is it really a checkmate? Oh, I don't believe in that. It can't be that bad. Or it can be, I don't know. Let's see. So g6, for instance, bishop goes to f6. That is almost over. Wow. That is really interesting. That is really interesting. What the hell can I do? f5 takes f6. Rook goes to f7. Yeah, this can be played, and probably the only chance for me to protect my king. Wow. Yeah, it should be lost. It should be absolutely lost. Yeah. The whole combination was just brilliant for white, and yeah, I just underestimated this attack. Wow. Oh, this gives me some chances, maybe. I thought that queen g6 was winning completely. But maybe it's still winning, I don't know. Still looks very, very bad for black. But now at least I have some ways for making queen g6 is a threat, right? Guys, so let's bring my queen to the 7th. Protecting my rook. Yeah, I'm playing this way. Oh, now I have some chances for sure. Yeah, that was a nice escape. But okay. Still very annoying position because I have no time, right? Oh, And checkmate is still coming, yeah? Oh, fuck. I've lost my bishop on b7. That is stupid, no? Oh no, I didn't lose it. Okay, what to do? I don't know what to do, actually. So bad position. Yeah. Yeah, these rooks are just beating me. What a stupid game. Okay. Checkmate was a threat. Yeah, I was completely outplayed. I was completely outplayed here. Several times. Several times. And draw, come on. Yeah, that was winning, but it was at least the first draw for Duke Crusher against me. So also an achievement probably. But yeah, it was winning. I think that somewhere here, instead of rook h3, just to start with queen g6, was simply crushing. I can't see a defense. I simply can't see a defense, so my king can't escape here. Everything is pinned here, and rook h3 is coming. I'm not in time to protect my position, right? Duke Crusher says it was a gesture of generosity. Come on, let's start to crush you all, guys. You're so generous. Yeah, so after queen g6, I think white wins. So what was wrong with the idea? Knight to d3, rook to f3 was kind of very tempting, but then h6 takes queen d3. Yeah, I just missed the power of this attack, actually. That was very bad. So instead of all this, Kramnik students suggested to play knight to e4, but knight to e4 is not cool. Maybe not cool, I mean, in the sense of taking on f2, because here knight goes to f2, and white is a minor piece up. But maybe it is possible just to take on e4. e3 is still hanging, queen takes e4 looks a bit dangerous for white, but maybe it's still possible to play queen takes e4. I can't see a good discard attack. Knight to b4, okay, queen to d4. Yeah, I don't feel like I have enough compensation there. Yeah, so maybe after knight g5 it was like a must for me to play g6 or something, but my position becomes very weakened on the king side. So a nice game, Duke Crusher, but then yeah, probably queen to g6 was just a killer. I don't see a defense. I don't see a defense. Okay, let's continue. Butterfly, accept. And I play with black. Yeah, probably it was better for me to keep playing white. Okay. d4, knight to f6. Knight to c3. Very self. Very self, no. Not very self. A gambit. Again the same. So f3. And I don't remember, c6, I guess. Kind of Caro-Kann. Bishop c4. And here bishop to f5, yeah? Or bishop to g4. Bishop to g4, bishop takes f7. That's the problem. Let's try bishop to f5. And bishop to g6 simply. So I have kind of extra pawn, but definitely white has compensation, white has the attack and good chances. H takes g6. Queen to f3. Okay, so everything is fine here. white does what he wants, activates his pieces on the king side. So I think it's time for me to play e6. Is it possible to do or not? I think yes. Well, at least it is the only normal way for me to keep developing pieces. Wow, g4. It is too much, I think. I can attack the bishop now and the pawn on d4 simultaneously. And g4 looks very vulnerable, so. And now I can take on d4, but then bishop to e3 might be annoying. That's probably a plan. So queen takes d4, bishop e3, g4 is protected, but queen goes to e5, creating a sort of a checkmate on h2. Bishop goes to f4 then. Bishop to c5 check, let's say. King goes to h1 or something. Yeah, it might be a problem for me. But do I have anything better than taking on d4? Yes, probably just queen to c7. Yeah, let's play queen to c7. Bishop goes to d6 then, if bishop f4. So h2 is under attack. Very nice. Yeah, I think g4 was just a serious mistake. But maybe I'm wrong. As we can see, the quality of my chess today is very bad. So I might be wrong. Now I'm a pawn up, right? Looks like I have a great chance just to exchange one of white's bishops. So white won't have a pair of bishops anymore, which looks very good. Yeah. For black, of course. Yeah, hard times. Hard times for white. Very, very hard choice. If g5, let's say, then bishop takes f4, queen takes f4, everything takes on f4, simplifies the position, then knight goes to d5. So yeah, simply extra pawn. After queen d6, it is still an extra pawn. h2 is heading right. So what to do now? Just castling long deserves attention, but then g5 might be a bit annoying. So I will start with the g5, fixing the pawn structure. Now castles, and in addition to extra pawn, black has simply a positional advantage, I think. Now let us castle. Nothing wrong with that. d4 is handing now, but a5, yeah, saves the pawn on d4 for a while. But then what? It will be still very hard to find anything good for white here. Now there is a choice to take with the c pawn, with the queen, or with the e pawn, or even with the knight. I think with the knight goes to f4. Queen f7 is not possible in view of queen takes h2. Yeah. It's winning. For sure. Queen to g3. Knight to f4. Bishop goes away somewhere. Rook to h3, followed by another rook to h1. h8, sorry. Yeah. Should be very good. Simple queen takes g3 was also playable, but I think here I have more chances. Moreover, d4 pawn is hanging, yeah. So bishop is hanging and pawn on d4 at the same time. Yeah. This position is very good. I have never played Caro-Kann, but this sort of Caro-Kann, I mean with the extra pawn, looks very good for black. Okay, so takes d4. Yeah. I mean, why not? Rook to h3 now. So white's only chance is to play a6 at some point. Oh, isn't it a checkmate on h3? I mean, rook h2, king h2, rook to h8, and then rook to h3? Checkmate? Yeah. Yeah, looks like that. Let's do it. Cool. Yeah. So, actually I have no idea how to improve white's play, but definitely g4 was a serious mistake. So g4, just making everything hanging in the own position. So to knight b6, I think black is winning already. There is no normal defense. So instead of that, I don't know, maybe bishop to g5, preparing the rook to d1, maybe queen to g3, an interesting move, just preventing queen to c7, bishop to d6, and also creating some sort of threat of taking on e6 maybe at some point, just sacrifice, then fighting for g6, and so on. So g4 was definitely a mistake. Okay, let's continue. The next is that would be Kramnik student, right? Accept. And again, black pieces. Don't like it. That is interesting, but in real life, my results are better with black. Significantly better. So I just played better chess with black pieces. So I do like playing with black in real life, in real tournaments. As for Blitz, I don't know. I just prefer white pieces. I don't know why. I don't know the reason. But okay. Alekinian says, play me please, Andre. Okay, next game will be against the castles and rook to e8. So one of the lines of Rubinstein system, right? Rubinstein system in Nimzo-Indian. And while a3 is not a move here, I think bishop d2 deserves serious attention. Okay, let's take that. So white, I mean, should do everything, nearly everything, to force black to take on c3 without playing a3. In which case, the bishop won't be that passive on c1. And of course, white will have sort of extra tempo. Okay, so what to do now? To play knight e4, bishop e4, or what? Or just to play e5? Yeah, I think e5 deserves serious attention here. Or maybe it's a blunder, even. Maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a blunder, right? So d5, d5, and knight takes c5 now. Yeah, blunder the pawn. Very nice. Kramnik student understood that and exploited. Yeah. But maybe it's not that bad for me. I mean, maybe it's even a sacrifice. Who knows? Let's play this. Let's develop the pieces. Then knight goes to c5. And I will have some initiative because I have a better pawn structure, right? And the bishop is still on c1 and it looks very ugly. So who knows? And now I take on f3, actually making white's pawn structure even more what I wanted to say. I wanted to say ugly, right? But I said more, so after that it's probably not that good. G takes f3. Okay, so knight to c5 or something, or just preparing the attack with the help of rook to e5. I don't really know what will be the most promising move. Okay, let's start with the knight c5 because anyway the knight belongs to this square, and then we will see. Bishop to c2. Okay. Where to put my queen? Let's do this move. I mean, it's flexible, so maybe I want to h3, maybe to a6, who knows? Maybe to e6 will be enough, right? So let's put it to h3 now, just for a while. And now rook to d8, activating the rook. Okay. So, what is next? Rook to e5, rook to g3, queen to h4, then rook to h5. Yeah, this looks interesting. Let's try it. So 2 knights against 2 bishops, but at the moment white has some problems with completing the development. That is also interesting. Interesting factor, probably. e4, okay. This weakens f4 square, but maybe it's not that critical. Bishop g5 might be a problem for me, so maybe knight to e6 or something. Yeah, knight to e6 protects everything, I think. And prepares knight to f4. Which might be annoying at very least. So let's do this first. Attacking h2 and forcing rook to g2, I think. And now knight to f4, yeah. And this probably forces bishop takes f4, which is quite good because now look at this bishop on c2. My knight is definitely better than that guy on c2. But again, the question is it enough? I think I'm better here. Yeah, my pawns are definitely better. And my knight, he's much better than the bishop long term. So position looks very promising. Okay, to exchange that rook or not. After that, the queen will be active, so maybe it's better for me to keep this rook on the board. Moreover, d-file, at least at the moment, is not that critical. Or maybe I'm just wrong about that estimate. Okay, so I have to protect my queen. I don't want to lose a blockading position. I don't want to lose f4 square, which is a great outpost. c5. Okay, at the moment I think I have to ignore that at least for a while. I can take on c5 of course, but then it damages my pawn structure. So yeah, it's better for me to ignore that, but what to do instead? So I need this move probably to start with. Yeah, it's definitely important to do that. Because I need g7 square for my king, right? And this allows me just to activate my rook e8 now. So I can put it on e5, let's say. And then to even h5 or c5 or a5. The rook is very flexible on the 5th rank. Ah, Deep Crusher, come on. You can't even imagine what it will be next time. Guys, let's try this. Position is being simplified. That is probably a good sign for me because white has enormous quantity of weaknesses here. For example, c3 at the first in the line to attack. Now let's say this move. And now we will see how my knight is better than the bishop. So now knight f4 is a threat. At the same time, my rook goes to c6. Yeah, knight f4 was ignored. Do I blunder anything? I think no. But let's start with... Ah, okay, rook takes h5 is the idea. So knight f4, rook takes, rook c5, bc5, a5, rook f6, bishop to d6. Ah, it might be not very good for me. Oh, what the hell? Is it really so dangerous? No, I don't think so. I have to be just in time to stop that pawn. No, that was a help. Slight help. One more. Come on. Yeah, now it's winning, absolutely. I'm absolutely sure. Oops. Why did I do that? I have no idea. And I won on time or something. Yeah. The conversion was really bad. Yeah. But white's problem with that actually bishop appeared very passive. So in the opening after knight a6, I think that knight f3 gave me a real chance. So first of all, let's start with that. I've just blundered the pawn. I played this e5 move and forgot about this idea. And very nice that Caro-Kann student simply found this tactics. It's really good. Knight takes c5. I can't take the knight because of bishop h7. That's clear. And yeah, so I can take on e5, bishop h7, king h7. I have only two minor pieces. Queen takes d8. Then I can't really trap the queen. So knight a6 probably, yeah, I will have some short-term initiative, but well, only two minor pieces, not enough. Okay, knight a6 was played. And here I believe that's probably f4 with much more promising, just to protect the knight. Okay, this weakens e4, no questions, but it still saves some sort of flexibility of the pawn structure, because after knight f3 I believe that, well, I already have sufficient counterplay for a missing pawn, right? Yeah, so bishop c2, queen c8, and I just start creating threats. Again, king h1 was probably too passive. Instead, I can offer playing something like f4, maybe, but f4 also weakens a lot. I don't know. Of course, it's a try to activate the pieces, but yeah, f4 probably weakens g4. It might be very critical. Yeah, so king h1, okay. Here, queen to e2, and now what? Rook to e5. Maybe here f4 deserved attention, but then again, rook h5, rook g2, not that clear, so e4 becomes weakened, and so on. Don't know. Queen h4. e4 is definitely good for black. So maybe e4 was sort of not a decisive mistake, of course, but kind of critical weakening. So maybe bishop d2, preparing rook to g1, but still trying to control these central squares, because after e4 and knight a6, well, I think I'm already very good. So this position is really very good for black to play for many reasons, but the main reason is the difference in the power of the knight and the bishop. That's the idea. Okay, so let's continue with Alekinen. I just told the man to play him right, so I'll keep my word. Except, by the way, your rating is also not that great as usual. What happened? What happened, man? c5, knight f3, d6, d4, knight e4, knight c3, a6. Okay, so no dragon today, or what? Or maybe it will be after this move. No, no dragon today, definitely. So something new happened. Something new happened to Alekinin. But okay, castles. Duke Crusher. You can even start your own YouTube channel, I think. How to crush Banter Blitzers. Something like that. Okay, castles. So what I wanted to play here is something like this. Yeah. Queen to e2. Yeah, let's try queen to e2. b6, well, f4 followed by f5. That might be very interesting. Let's try it. And f5, right or not? So f5, e5, knight goes away. Knight takes e4, knight d5. Bishop d5, bishop d5. Yeah, it should be very good. Let's try it. They only think where to move my knight, to b3 or f3. Let's do f3. Looks a bit more solid, at least. So yeah, d5 is now weakened. That is the main idea of this opening setup with the bishop on c4. And I have some perspectives on this whole diagonal a2, g8. Knight d4, is it really possible? I mean, I just play knight to d5. Attacking b6 now. It's crushing. I mean, I win immediately, I think. Unless I blunder something, but I think, yeah, it's winning already for white. Oh, whoa, whoa. Miktal says it. I'm simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I have ever met. Wow. That is something. Very ambitious man. But probably you are, I don't know. Queen to d7. Knight takes b6, knight takes a8. At very least I have an extra exchange, but I think I have something more. What if I play f6? Is it something? No, I didn't think so. That is very hard to make a decision in such a position. Let's start with the knight b6. I think it deserves attention. Oh, queen to g5. Sorry, queen to f5, allowing me to play knight to g5. Is it really possible for black to play this cocky way, having nothing developed? Let's do it. I don't know. I have all the pieces in the attack. It should be just winning. I have found Andres Achilles' heel, the h7 square. Yeah. True. So you can start all your games with, I don't know, c3, queen c2, knight f3, then knight g5. h7 drops for sure. And you win. That is the recipe, right? Kind of manual, how to beat Andre. Okay, here I think I should be winning, I don't know. Again, unless I blunder anything, but it should be just terribly winning. I don't know, bishop f7, rook f7, I don't know, knight f7, full leads to d5 or what. Knight f7, d5. Knight takes d5. Yeah, I should be also winning. Let's take with the knight. Let's see. What is that? What's printed on your mug, Andre? Is it Grandmaster Yoda? Well, I think he's not a Grandmaster. He's a Magister or a Master. Yeah, he's Master. Yeah, he's Master. Yeah, he's Master. And yeah, Master Yoda tries to share some knowledge about the Force with me every time I drink something out of this mug. What to do with black here? What a strange position. So d5, yeah, I wanted to take on d5 with the knight. Is it possible? I think it should be possible. Everything is hanging, right? Bishop on e7 is hanging, which means queen on g6 is also hanging at the moment. Rook f7 doesn't really help. Bishop g5, it's kind of desperado, I don't know. Knight takes g5 should be just finishing the game. Yeah, knight e7 is coming. It's over. Rook, rook. Check. And with the knight on f7, I think will be sexier. Yeah, checkmate. Okay. So, what? It's just a draw now. I mean, 3.5 against 3.5. That's interesting. Okay, so knight e4 was definitely a mistake. So knight e4 is not allowed here. I just played knight d5. Instead of that, it was necessary for you to play knight to d7 or something like that. But it is even better not to give me so simple play with the f4, f5. So it's better to keep the bishop on this diagonal. I mean, not to develop it on b7, but to d7. That's the idea. Okay, so let's play one more. Let's play one more. Whom to play? Whom to play? Let's play this guy. I play with white again. So I definitely played better with white today than was black. So I'm happy that again I received these white pieces. What the hell? Is my opponent online or not? United Kingdom. United Kingdom. Hello. Black Book says it takes all of gods to resist players with 2200s plus, and this guy in video crushes 2200s plus, being so relaxed and so on. Oh yeah. Come on, I'm sorry, but I have to abort because yeah, many players want to play. So let's play to there is no challenge from McTown, by the way. What's wrong with you, Mick? Don't you want to crush me? That's strange. Okay, let's play to Troll Fjord Padla. I hope my pronunciation wasn't that awful. Sorry for that. So knight c3, knight f6, knight f3, knight f6, sorry, knight c3. Knight c6 and d4. Who's banned there? Sorry. Draw gangster Anish year ago. Banned. Wow. What the hell is that again? This strange thing. Okay, I'll take on e5 with the knight. Again, this tricky line. It's time to learn some theory, I think. It's just time to learn some theory. Instead of, struggling every time when achieving this position, I don't know. Queen to f3 or something. Yeah, let's put the queen. No, queen knight takes d4. Come on, what am I doing? Let's take the knight first. Yeah, I have no advantage here. Queen takes e4. Okay, so what to do here? Bishop to e2. Developing the pieces. It should be not that bad. Oh, queen takes. That is something surprising. But okay, let's castle. Bishop takes c3. Okay, pawn takes. I can't believe queen will take on c3. That will be too cocky, I think. Yeah, d5. Looks good. More or less. More or less solid. Okay, let's undermine it. Anyway, I have pair of bishops, so it is my only chance to achieve something. Bishop a3 was also very good. Why didn't I play that? That was so natural. But c4 is also okay, so I want to play cd4 and then maybe c4 at some point. And here, bishop a3 should be definitely played, I think. Or maybe to start with bishop to f3. Bishop to f3 first, attacking the queen. Then probably rook to e1 check. Maybe, I'm not sure. Let's see. Should be already... I want to say it should be already very close to winning, but now I can see that it is not even close. It is not even winning. I don't know. Bishop goes to e6, then castles long, and I have nothing. All right. Wow. How come? So rook e1 check, bishop e6, bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, rook goes to e5, queen goes to where? To d6 probably or something. And then nothing, simply nothing. I don't know. Yeah, what to do here? Bishop to f4, nothing, castles. Check on e1 with the queen, bishop to e6, and then queen to a5. This looks so unnatural. Yeah, I don't really know. Okay, let's play... Nothing, simply nothing, come on. Okay, let's play this unnatural line. Yeah, I missed something definitely. But okay, let's keep playing. So what to do? No time for whipping. Yeah, it should be analyzed. Should be analyzed after the game. It is interesting at least, right? So rook to b1 first, or queen a5 immediately. Queen a5, just queen to b6, and again, nothing. Simply nothing in this position. That is really annoying. Oh, let's play rook b1. Okay, let's protect the bishop, the pawn. Let's protect everything. Yep. I have no compensation for missing material. Black controls everything. Yep. So I don't even see the possibility to make this position more or less interesting to play. Maybe I have to sacrifice anything, I don't know. Maybe an exchange somewhere on b4 or something. I don't really know. Okay, let's do this after all. Let's try to get to some weaknesses at least, because it's very hard to. c6, yeah, that is a move. Okay, let's play a4. Some weaknesses at least. The one on e6 and c4 looks hanging. Yeah, I have something. I finally have something, right? Oh yeah, this looks fun already. All my pieces are quite active. Important not to forget to make something like h3 or g3 to make my king more or less safe. But okay, at least I won the material back. That looks very good. Bishop d5 was a mistake, was a blunder of bishop g4, after which white is definitely cool. But again, the question is if I have enough time to prove something here. Let's see. At least I have a very clear plan of improving my position. So now fixing the weakness on g7. And probably doing something like g3, king g2. Yeah. First, let us prevent all the shit connected with the rook f5, but it wasn't a threat, of course. But still. Looks important to do that. Now let's improve the queen. The next what? g3, king g2, f4, probably. Yeah. Might be a good idea. Everything is protected, right? Right. Let's ignore it. Let us ignore it. And now let's play this. Yeah. f5, winning the pawn. Or no. Oh yeah. E takes f5, rook takes e7. That's true. One intermediate capture, but then another one. So I will take this. Now let's protect everything. Let's improve the position. Yeah, it should be winning absolutely, but the time is my only concern. And it should be absolutely winning. Where are checks? Nowhere. So, check. One more check and it is a checkmate already. So it's over. One mistake, one tiny mistake. It was bishop to d5, and it was over. I mean, after taking on e6 and rook to e1, I was already happy with my position. So maybe it wasn't winning, but look, in a few moves, I was just dominating all the board. All right, so black is completely passive. I'm just very active with all my pieces, and the rest was not very hard to do. So in the opening, I think this position is very interesting. So c4 looked very natural, but then I failed to find something. Yeah, maybe bishop a3 here, but what is the difference? No difference. So maybe c4 was too much. I know bishop a3 instead, but well, it didn't look very dangerous. Maybe rook to b1 was interesting. I mean, if white castles, black castles, the bishop b5 was a threat. Bishop to a3 is possible, attacking the rook, and if rook e8, then bishop b5, so rook goes to d8 is necessary here. And then something like bishop to b5 might be very annoying because of bishop e7 threat. So let's say queen takes c3, just for example. Rook to b3 to show you the power of white's position here. Queen here, bishop to e7. I think queen's on the spot. The rook has no squares to move. Bishop f6 followed by rook g3 is also a threat, so it looks just awful, right? And if queen goes away somewhere, I don't know, queen b6, it will be the same bishop e7, yeah? Queen to e6 just... Yeah, queen to e6 is probably the only move. But then rook to e1. Attacking the queen again, intending to play bishop e7, and if knight e4, then something like f3 looks very promising. Something like that, I mean, yeah. Maybe rook to b1 deserved attention. At least it is a developing move, and maybe if black can't really make a castle, then a6 is forced, protecting b5, preventing this bishop b5 check, which makes my position better than it was after c4, because now I have an extra tempo, right, with the activated rook already. Okay. Let's continue, and it will be probably the last game today. And you know what? I want to play to Migtad, except he was a Chess Explained bidder, right? So let's try to beat the Chess Explained bidder. Sicilian. That will be interesting. a6. No. It won't be interesting. Let's play a4. Come on. Let's play something unusual. Knight to d7. So now I think I have no problems with playing a5, because knight c6 with a bad thing about playing a5. Now I think it's no longer a problem. Okay, knight to f6. So what to do now? Bishop to c4. Just continuing development. Yep, castles. Bishop to e7. And what? d4. d4. Let's play d4. And take with the queen. Again, a possibility after knight went to d7. So usually when queen goes to d4, then knight c6. But knight is already on d7, so why not to try to centralize the queen rather than the knight? Looks interesting. So now what? Now I want to try to play against d6 pawn somehow. But first of all, I have to think of opponent's counterplay. So black probably wants to play something like knight c5, maybe b5, maybe b5, yeah. So how to react? Maybe bishop to g5. Looks rather unusual, but then probably my bishop goes through h4 to g3 to attack d6. Yeah, let's try it. And yeah, in many cases, oh, e5. Okay, I wanted to do everything to provoke e5, but black played e5 himself. Yeah, so it's kind of help. Yeah. The only question is where to go. To d2, I think, protecting bishop on g5. Yeah. It should be played, and now I'll take this guy. So it's like in Sveshnikov, the same idea. Now let's do this first. Attacking the knights and making e4 less vulnerable. And now I think knight to d5. So 3 minutes on the clock. A better position. Comfortable situation, I guess. The next will be, I guess, some sort of c3, bishop to b3, just covering all the things in the center. Knight at g5, come on. I can take here. Was it planned or something? I don't know. Because now black's position is just all holes. Come on, knight on g5 is handing meek. What's wrong with you today? That is just a minor piece. Gratis. Oh. Extra minor piece. It's an extra minor piece. It's kind of very late for a counterplay with the f5, I think. Okay. You can try it if you want. Let's take this one. That will be interesting. d5, come on. That is the rook on f8. Are you kidding me or what? What is going on? Or it's too late for you to play, huh? Yeah, you just, come on. Blundered everything today. Not your day, definitely. So yeah, after e6 and castling, I have a feeling that knight e4 was interesting. It was interesting. So if I take on e4, you play d5. This looks a bit dangerous, but I think I have no refutation for this. So maybe only bishop takes e6 here after knight e4, but it also looks a bit strange. I don't know. Knight c3 deserves attention. First of all. Second of all, even taking on e6 with a pawn gives you just a healthy position with pair of bishops. I think that was interesting to try. Because after bishop e7 and d4, we had sort of, yeah, very typical position. Now knight e4 is no longer that efficient and promising. So your next mistake was here when you played e5. I think it's much better for you to try queen c7, followed by b5 or b6, so it's necessary to undermine this pawn. Moreover, you had an interesting idea of playing something like knight to b8, and then knight to c6 attacking my a5. Okay, you lose some tempi, but you improve the position of the knight and you exert some pressure on my position, right? So probably even knight b8 deserved attention here, I don't know. Looks more or less logical, right? But not e5. e5 is definitely a bad idea. Because now, look, all my pieces are justified, right? So I did everything right. My bishop controls d5, my knight controls d5. My bishop on g5 is ready to capture an f6 whenever your knight d7 goes away somewhere. So it just helped me to justify the placement of my pieces. That was really wrong. Okay. So thanks a lot for your attention and for your patience today, because, well, I played really stupid chess, at least in the first part of the show. It was really annoying probably, but I tried my best. Actually, it is my current shape. I'm not really good in Blitz. I'm not really good in playing chess. Recently, I'm a bit exhausted with this. I'm sorry, fucking renewal works, but they go to the end. I do hope it is the final stage, so I need something like several days to finish all this stuff. And then I will come back to my regular training process and the quality will increase. Anyway, it doesn't make the quality of training Tuesdays any lower. So all premium members are welcome next week to the next episode of the Training Tuesday, where we will discuss the situation when knights and bishops work together with great efficiency. See you Tuesday. Thanks a lot for your attention. Take care. Bye bye.